That boy 23, do y'all think we are contenders with Adams? Because it's a 1-year rental unless Raiders take bulk of his contract for the remaining after this season.
Well, I don't necessarily think that it would have to be that situation. I think that, number one, Omar gets a chance to get his hands on the contract, along with our own in-house restructuring and contract situations. Omar make them numbers work. I ain't never tripping on that. But I do think he helps us out in a major way. Now, in terms of contenders, I would first need to see what we're going to be doing with quarterback going forward. I think that that's going to continue to play a big role in how legitimate we are. We know it's a quarterback-driven league, so your quarterback has to be one of your best players. If he's not, or if he's not consistent enough, then it doesn't matter who you put out there. So that's partly how I view that contender part, but I do think we have enough with our defense and special teams. Yes, I do feel like when our offensive line is healthy, they are good enough. Yes, I do feel like they need to keep getting healthy, but to me as a whole,
and knock some of the rust off.
Yeah.
For those that just came back yesterday.
Hey man, when you out for a while, that first rep, you be like, whoa, and it just so happened I was in prize. I was like, Lord, baby, get off the tracks, man. Just yeah. It's like that sometimes. It's like that. He bounced back though. He bounced back. He fought back. But yeah.
I think you're right though. The quarterback play has got to be good, and the defense got to be better than what it has been.
Yeah, they could be a lot more consistent.
Those were the two things that were solid for us the first 3 weeks. Quarterback play and defense was awesome.
I mean, you can make a case in both situations. We might have oversold some of what we had saw. Not just in terms of us, but as a whole. I mean, we were comparing the Steelers' defense after 3 games to the 2008 defense, to the 2000 Ravens, to all these like legendary defenses. And from my perspective, 3 games isn't anything. These dudes did it for 14, 16, 17 weeks respectively. It's like, man, 3 games is a small sample size when you're talking about overall historic or great seasons or historic or great teams, historic or great players. And even at quarterback, I mean, the conversations were shifting to we should sign Justin Fields to a long-term deal now because it's a steal. And it's like, dude, it was 3 games. But for the people that kind of take the it was 3 games approach, it gets misconstrued as hate for him or a lack of support. And it's just you want more time to get more information because other teams are going to start to see, okay, he struggles with this. All right, now you got to go through a couple of weeks of can he overcome these things now? Because it's looking like pressure is affecting him negatively. So I anticipate more blitzes coming or more pressure being generated versus him if he's still out there until he proves that he can still make high-level throws on the run, high-level decisions on the run, and not, kind of get thrown out of whack right now. But that's the way that the league works. So once he crosses these next couple of games, if he keeps getting opportunities, now you got a chance to know, okay, well, we've seen him when it works well. We've seen him when it goes bad. Now we're here. And it's more information with that. But until then, it's just like, yo, these are feel-goods when it's just this small sample size. It's like, all right, can you do it again and again and again? Because that's what separates the good guys versus the great guys from the elite guys.
Absolutely. What do you look like in a primetime game like we just witnessed last night? What do you look like
versus
in
a team
AFC
that's
North
willing to
games
go
down the
back at
stretch?
you?
What do you look like potentially in the playoffs? Like, I need to see all that before I'm giving him the contract extension. I just thought he was playing good enough where he continued to earn the opportunity to start as the weeks went on. And we'll see what happens next week. We'll see. I'm still good rolling with Fields. I don't think that's happening, though. I think Tom was going with Russ.
I need Russ to have a full week of practice because even last week, the way that it was communicated was he upped his participation and it was the most he's participated, but they still didn't say he was a full participant. And some of the way that they were talking once again was it's more than likely he can play this week in Vegas, but he'll be 100% good to go versus the Jets. So for me, I'm like, if that is the case, I do not want to see Russ in Vegas. Put Fields out there because I do not want to deal with any more of this calf situation. So if it takes one more week of just to be extra super careful, and now I got to complete 3 game sample size for Fields, I would much rather take that approach, because I'm going to be pissed if we get Russ for a game and it's like, oh, calf pop back up again. All right, switching back out. It's like, no, man. No, we just missed you too much now.
And if Fields balls out,
so be it.
Yeah, Fields balls out. We're 4-2. He goes for like 250, 3 touchdowns. Then
so be it.
I think it makes that decision that much harder for Colin. It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm completely fine rocking with Fields going into next week.
Yeah.
Like, last week doesn't deter me from, like, the Fields momentum that we've had thus far this season. I would say he's fine to get another opportunity, and then maybe you can really know after this Raiders game.
Because now
one way or another.
3-3. That's a 6-game sample size. What's your record? What are the numbers? How have you looked? Eyeball test. Situationally, what have you been like? What are the turnovers?
Yep.
Are we still having the same issues pop up for the however many weeks in a row now, with either a crazy snap or something weird with the football, and it's just
Either I just want to win next week, so I don't even, at this point, I don't even care.
But I will say this, though. Shout out to Justin Fields, though, man. I thought his toughness was on display like a son of a gun last night, because the Cowboys was low-key firing off on him, man. He took some shots running that rock. He took some shots throwing that rock, but he kept getting up. And even when he got hurt for the little bit and they took him into the tent, he came right back out there, man. Like, that's the one thing that I do appreciate with him. He wasn't turning down anything. It was no finger pointing, no bad body language. I was watching the Jets game earlier, and it was like every time something go bad with Rodgers, he give me the pouty. I'm like, yo, chill. Like, you're not playing good. You can't do that. But with Fields, it was like, man, it didn't matter who hit him. It didn't matter if it was a drop, bad play, whatever. I just thought that he had great body language, man. Great leadership was being displayed, man. And because he is such a young dude, I personally don't take that for granted with them young dudes. So salute to him for that, man. I thought that was really good, though, especially knowing that the game wasn't going his way, knowing that the flow overall wasn't like how it typically had been for him.
Yeah, that's why they liked him out in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I got to say this, too. The people that are not counting Fields' second touchdown or crediting it towards him, I don't want to hear it, because Mahomes does that shit all the time.
What you mean?
I just saw some people in the chat yesterday whenever I was doing my post, and they're like, that second touchdown for Fields shouldn't count for him. It was a shuffle to Fryer Mahomes gets touchdown credit for all the exactly. I don't want to hear it.
And you know partly why that play works? Because you got to worry about Fields actually taking off sometimes. You got to worry about him actually being a thrower. I hate that play, though, actually. Not like the design of it. I hate it as a defender. Because it was like, I
hate it when Mahomes does it all the time.
Yeah, bro. 7 used to do that joint. You be sitting here like, it's a second. Bop. You be like, bro, I hate this. Yeah.